Next up, we've got a question from Concerned Citizen 45. He says, Money guys, we have 1.1 million in net worth at age 32 and 34.
Whoa.
Woo woo. We have a sizable inheritance coming our way
Whoa.
when the in-laws pass. We max our 401k and IRA. How else can we prepare for fire?
We max our 401k.
Mm-hmm. Which, listen, these sums of money are nothing to scoff at. Like, some level of fire is possible, but this is an interesting question on a few levels. What do you think?
Let me give you a hot take with some cold water.
Yep.
You ready for this? If fire is your goal, this is my opinion, write this in pencil, take the inheritance out of the equation.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Take the inheritance out of the equation. We work with a lot of very wealthy families, both first generation, second generation, third generation. As we're talking to the different generations, even though we have an understanding of the wealth that exists a generation up, we always counsel them, hey, while it's there, we want to build a plan that will allow you to be successful, even if that does not come to fruition. For whatever reason, maybe mom and dad decide they want to give all the money away. Maybe something happens and all of a sudden that wealth that was there disappears and dissipates. If you base your financial life off of that, I worry that you're going to set yourself up to be dependent on something you do not want to be dependent on. Because what if you're like planning for fire and the inheritance the way you're going to do fire and you get to 45 years old and, you know, mom and dad are still super healthy and kicking. You're like, hey guys, come on, I'm ready for fire. What are we doing here? Start eating some,
Yikes.
Start eating a bunch of fried food. Like that's not the place that you want to be in. So what I would tell you is, what's the thing that you can do to plan for fire? All right, take the inheritance out of the equation. Now, at 32 and 34 with $1.1 million net worth, that's balling.
It's really good.
That's really, really good. So you're already doing the things that you probably need to be doing in terms of building wealth. I'm going to argue that for most fire proponents, 25% won't quite get you there, right? We show you all the time what savings rate. You know what? I'm gonna give you a little hack. You can, because by the way, all of our tools can be hacked if you think about it. Well, if you think about it hard enough, you can hack them. Go to moneyguy.com/resource. We have a tool about it's called "What Can 25% Do for You?" Now, here's what you think. Don't look at what a 30-year-old, 35-year-old. What I want you to do is I want you to look at like a 50-year-old or a some older age there and say, okay, what savings rate would I need to have to replace X% of income in 10 years and 15 years? And that's the way you need to think about your savings rate, because 25% probably won't get you there. You're going to have some savings rate higher than that. So that's step one. I got to check my savings rate. Step two is, I love the idea that you say you're going to max out your 401ks. Problem is, if you're fire and fire is before 55 at the company you're currently working at, where's your money going to come from? So one of the things that fire proponents have to do is they don't have to think about size of portfolio, size of assets. They got to think about access to assets. Am I building up that step 7, that hyperaccumulation, that after-tax bucket, where I can get to those dollars if I'm checking out at 45? I need something to bridge me from 45 to 59 and a half. I mean, yeah, maybe I can get to my Roth basis and all those sorts of things, but you really want to smoke those cigars first? Nah, probably not. You probably want to leave the choice ones for later on in retirement when that money is like really, really, really valuable. So you ought to start thinking about that after-tax bucket. You don't just have to think about how big it is. You got to think about what pots it's in. So I would argue, if you are at this stage and you are at this step, this is a really good time that maybe it does make sense to take the relationship to the next level, right? You are aiming for one fire retirement. It might make sense to join up or partner with someone who's done a lot of fire retirements, who's seen hundreds of retirements, to tell you, hey, here's the pitfalls. Here's the things you need to think about. Here's how health insurance works. Here's the types of strategies you need to be thinking about. Here are the things you need to be concerned about, to kind of walk you through that, because you want to make sure there's not something you're missing. I love where you're at, and I love what you're doing, but in terms of preparing for that next step, next stage, there's still a lot of variables that are going to take place between 32 and 34, and you just want to make sure it's not something that you miss out on. If you're curious on where to start, I'll give you 2 resources. If you're thinking about partnering with someone to figure out helping you navigate this, go to moneyguy.com/resources, download our Is it 8 questions?
8
10
questions to ask your financial advisor.
8 questions to
Yes,
ask a financial
that's a good
advisor.
one.
So no matter who you're going to talk to, I would encourage you to use this great tool to make sure you're finding someone who can actually help you with what you're looking to get help with. Second thing I'd say is, hey, consider us, Abound Wealth. The firm that we have here, we do this very thing. So go to moneyguy.com or aboundwealth.com, click on the work with us, fill out the questionnaire, connect with one of our advisors, and we would love to help you figure out how you navigate this next stage.
Good stuff.